Hi there. Did you know that plants are much more complex than you might think? Yes, they can be easily transplanted or done away with, but we should not deny the fact that they are very interesting. For example, look at this plant here. Instead of growing in a certain way, it decides to grow upwards. This is Z Online School, and this video is about what tropic responses really are. And by the end of this video, you should be able to know what tropic responses are, the different kinds of tropic responses, and at the end of this video, we prepared some study tips that will help you to handle any questions you might encounter under tropic responses better. We are going to start with what tropic responses are, and we're going to define them first. As you may know, I like getting any definitions I find in the word I want to define. So here we've got the word responses. So when I checked the dictionary, the word response meant a reaction to something that has happened. That's the part I really want. You know, plants can talk, so the being said part is not really important for us. Now, this got me thinking, so really, tropic responses are just reactions of plants. Now, in biology, we need to know an extra word. This word is stimulus, which means a factor that brings about a response. So I could now understand even better about tropic responses because I knew what a response is and what a stimulus is. Therefore, if I define a tropic response as a response of a plant part by either moving towards or away from a stimulus, this definition totally makes sense. You should remember this definition as we are looking at tropic responses in this video, as defining the different kinds of tropic responses will just be making use of this definition that we've just learned. Under tropic responses, you also need to know what positive tropic responses or what positive tropisms are. Tropic responses is quite a long word, so you see me using the word tropism instead of tropic responses. These two words can be used interchangeably. However, in the study tips section, we'll look at how these two can be used interchangeably. Therefore, stay around till that section so that you can know more about how to use these two words. Okay, when you see the word positive, what they're just meaning is a plant part is moving towards that stimulus. You can remember the stimulus is just a factor. Very soon in this video, we'll look at the different stimuli a plant can move towards or away from. Apart from positive, you need to know about negative tropisms. Negative tropisms are just the response of a plant part away from a stimulus. Remember, positive ones are those towards, while negative are those away from. With that said and done, now we can look at the kinds of tropic responses we'll find in plants. We can't look at the different kinds of tropic responses without knowing the different kinds of stimuli that plants get to move towards or away from. There are basically just four that you need to know. The first is light, the second is gravity, the third is water, and the fourth are chemicals. These stimuli are the factors that affect tropic responses. If you forget these four stimuli, you forget all the kinds of tropic responses. Now, there's something very important that I'm going to talk about right now. I'm going to talk about how each of these stimuli is represented in tropic responses. Light is represented by the word photo, while gravity by geo or the word gravi, but mostly under the ECZ syllabus you'll find the word geo being used. Hydro is used to represent water, and chemo is used to represent chemicals. With this said and done, now we can look at the different kinds of tropic responses. As you can see, the first kind we're looking at is phototropism. This is just simply the response of a plant part to light by either moving towards or away from it. And like you have just noticed, this is just the exact definition of what a tropic response is. The only difference is that we've put the word light into this definition. However, we'll be just changing the word light with the different kinds of tropic responses we want to define. Therefore, if we talk about geotropic responses, we'll put gravity instead of light. In this picture, we see some plant shoots moving towards light. This is an example of phototropism. These shoots are moving towards the light source because, like I said, plants are very interesting. Later, when we look at more about tropic responses, we will know why this happens. Geotropisms are the response of a plant part to gravity by either moving towards or away from it. In this picture, we can see that the roots are growing downwards. Therefore, they are showing positive geotropism. The shoots of this plant are showing negative geotropism. This is because they are moving in an opposite direction to the force of gravity. Hydrotropism is the next kind of tropic response we'll look at. Like you know, we'll be just replacing the word light with water. And therefore, you can read the definition which says the response of a plant part to water by moving towards or away from it. This diagram tries to illustrate the fact that the roots will grow towards the water. This is very important. We'll also look at more when we talk about a detailed video under tropic responses. Last but not the least, we've got chemotropism. Chemotropism is the response of a plant part to chemicals by either moving towards or away from them. Therefore, if a plant part is moving towards a certain chemical, it's showing positive chemotropism, while if it's moving away from certain chemicals, it's showing negative chemotropism. This also applies for each of these tropic responses we've talked about. If a certain plant part is moving towards gravity, it's said to be positively geotropic. While if it's moving away from gravity, like we saw the shoots, it's said to be negatively geotropic. This picture here illustrates the fact that the pollen grain is attracted to certain chemicals that are produced by the ovule. This is also very important in plants. We'll talk about more in a detailed video about tropic responses. With this said and done, now let's look at some tips you should always remember when you're studying tropic responses. The first is how to use the words tropism and tropic. Some students interchange these two words and make sentences that are biologically incorrect. However, we're going to start with those that are correct. For example, you can say that roots show positive geotropism, or you can say roots are positively geotropic, and you can also say roots show positive geotropic response. These three descriptions are all correct. However, these three I'm going to talk about now are the incorrect usage of the word tropism and tropic. You cannot say that roots are positive geotropism. This is not using the word geotropism in the right way. You cannot also say that roots show positively geotropic. And you cannot also say that roots are positive geotropic response. These last three descriptions are unacceptable. Next, we're going to talk about the importance of phototropism. If you are attentive, you might have noticed that positive phototropism enables the shoots to grow upwards, and therefore this will enhance the process of photosynthesis. Negative phototropism is also another thing that is important for plants, as it enables the roots to grow downwards and search for mineral salts and other substances needed from the soil. Next, we need to look at the importance of hydrotropism. Positive hydrotropism enables the roots to grow towards water. If plants never had this characteristic of hydrotropism, plants could easily get dry because they would rely on rainwater or simply water given to them by other organisms like human beings. Negative hydrotropism enables shoots to grow upwards. As you can see, different kinds of tropic responses might cause one response from plants. For example, you can see that negative hydrotropism causes shoots to grow upwards. Positive phototropism also causes shoots to grow upwards. For me, I see that as very interesting. Now, what is the importance of geotropism? Well, I mentioned this, if I'm not mistaken. Positive geotropism enables the roots to grow into the soil, and therefore plants won't lack nutrients that they need that are only found in the soil. Negative geotropism again causes the shoots to grow upwards into the atmosphere. Last but not the least, we must remember the importance of chemotropism. Chemotropism enables the pollen tube to form towards the ovary. If in a plant chemotropism wasn't present, processes like fertilization wouldn't take place very easily because the pollen grain could have no way of getting to the ovary to cause fertilization. We'll look at more about even chemotropism. So look out for a video that will be looking at more things under tropic responses. Thanks for reaching till the end of this wonderful video. Now look into your environment and see if you can find out any tropic responses.